Yeah, it's of course it's a really important game for us. I think we need to win to make the playoff. We're looking forward to a game with a big crowd. It's going to give us the energy to play a fun football with a lot of energy, a football that hopefully is going to bring 3 points to us as well.
Questions for Ken? What do you say to your club to kind of keep them loose? I know you want them focused, but with huge crowd, huge stuff on the line when it comes to playoffs. I know you probably don't want them too tight.
I mean, I think it was a little bit different like 1 year ago. We had a lot of players that we weren't used to play in the front of a big crowd and things like that. So I think they were a little bit like nervous when that happened. But now we have a group that is 1 year older, of course. They have a lot of experience. We have national team players that have been away and played a World Cup. So I think for them it's just to enjoy the movement, to feel the support from the city.
What do you feel about your group this week with the World Cup players kind of coming back? Does it almost feel like they haven't left, or has it been taken a minute to kind of get readjusted?
I think we will see that tomorrow. But I mean, good energy. I mean, there are great people off the pitch, so they brings in energy, all of them. I think the training today and the training we had yesterday was probably one of the better so far.
What kind of difference do you notice in training when you get players of that type of quality back in the fold?
I mean, of course, it helps. I mean, to add world-class players. So yeah, you can see it in the quality, you can see it in the tempo and everything, I would say.
Is it safe to assume that the ones who were starting before they left are starting again come tomorrow, or still trying to figure it out?
They looks ready, all of them, and I will say, and then we will see how much, who will start and for how long. But they looks ready.
The match earlier this season against Angel City, obviously went out to a 2-0 lead and ended up drawing. Is there anything you go back and look at that match, or do you just kind of push that aside that way earlier in the season?
I think we were a little bit different team when we played against them. I think we are better right now. I also remember in that game, there was just after a national team break, and also I think we have a better depth right now. So I think that's going to help us. I remember in that game we couldn't do that much, and we couldn't rotate, and we had a lot of injury when we played against them. So they were the better team, especially in the end of the game. But we also know that how good we played in the first half. So we remember the first half and move on from the second.
Angel City's been on a really strong streak lately. I believe they haven't lost a game in their last 4 or 5. Do you pay that any attention, or you just focus on racing and how racing performs?
No, I think, I mean, they have changed coach, or they have an interim coach right now, and since then I think they even more than 4 or 5. I think it's almost like 7 or something like that. So I think they look a little bit similar, but maybe they keep the ball in the team a little bit more. I think they are working a little bit more with possession, and maybe a little bit more with the risk as well in their build-up. So of course we have a game plan, and we have an idea how we can win the game.
You guys have pretty openly talked about your goals this season, whether that was making the semifinal of Challenge Cup, making the playoffs for the NWSL. So do you talk pretty openly with the players about where you're at in the table right now, and that this is kind of a crucial stretch of schedule?
Yeah, we're talking about the whole time that we will have to win tomorrow. I think you need to win like every single game more or less right now, especially a home game, especially when we have the support from our fans and from the city tomorrow. So I think it's really important, and there's no reason to talk around that. And we have to win, and I think this group getting more used to talk about 3 points and the playoff, and they have already showed in the Challenge Cup that they are good enough to make the playoff. And if we can do it now in the league, it's going to be, of course, really important for us and for the club.
Watching the international players during the World Cup, did you see anything with how they were utilized or tactically that's different than what you do here that you might want to try here?
It's, of course, I see a difference. I mean, with all of them, but I think it's also difficult to to bring in everything from there. I know, like, if we take Tembi Katlana, she's still right now in South Africa, but they played her as a 9. They play like a defense and then counter-attack with her, and it makes sense for them to do that, but maybe not for us in the same way. Ari Borges, her starting position is to the right, and then she comes into the middle. So in the attacks, Ari looks a little bit similar to us, but in the defense, a little bit different. So of course, I look at it. I watch like almost all of the games, and you try to find some inspiration, but we need to keep our identity as well. So to find that balance.
So maybe conversely, when you think about tactics, but maybe the confidence they bring with them from performing so well at the World Cup, and that's something that will translate.
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, they did so well, like all of them. So it's they are back with a lot of energy, you can see, instead of sometimes that have been like the case that you have like a big group that comes back with low energy. Maybe they were disappointed with the performance with the national team, but so far it's just good energy that I feel.